So I had the slide on here yesterday. I really need it on there for today, though. We're talking about the zero product property. You may have heard about it before. You may not have. So let's talk about it a little bit. To solve a polynomial equation using the zero product property, you may need to factor the polynomial or write it as a product of other polynomials. That's what we did yesterday, right? Factored out GCF from our polynomial. Everyone remember that? Okay. So, here's our two examples. I might create some more examples for us. So let's look at letter A first. 2x squared plus 8x equals 0. Did we have the equal sign yesterday? No, we were just factoring the polynomials, weren't we?
Yeah.
Now we're solving this equation by factoring. Okay? So let's factor that polynomial first. Let's factor out our GCF. We're looking at our coefficients. What are our two coefficients here? 2 and 8. What's the biggest number that goes into both 2 and 8? 2. So I'm factoring out a 2. How many x's do we have in common in both of our terms? 1x? So there's my GCF of my polynomial. Everyone got that? Similar to yesterday, correct? Or that's the exact same as yesterday. And GCF is 2x. 2x times what would give me 2x squared? X. 2x times what would give me 8x?
Quattro.
4. Positive 4. And then I still have my equal 0 at the end. Is everyone okay with that?
Yeah.
So that's all we did yesterday was just factor, right? Today we're factoring and then we're solving the equation. So this is where our zero product property comes in. Okay? Anything times what would give me 0? 0. So I've got two things being multiplied here, right? I've got a 2x and an x plus 4 being multiplied. Right? So based on anything times 0 equaling 0, what does one of these things need to be? 0, right? That's what my zero product property says. If two things are being multiplied and I know they equal 0, I know one of them must equal 0, correct? So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to set each of these two things equal to 0 and solve for x. So take my first item, set it equal to 0. 2x equals 0. I take my second item, x plus 4, set it equal to 0, and now I'm solving for x on both of these. Does that make a little bit of sense for my zero product property? I know one of them has to be 0, so I'm going to set them both equal to 0. Does that make sense? Okay, now we're just solving for x. For 2x equals 0, how do I get x by itself? Divide by 2 on both sides. What does x equal here? 0. There's one of my solutions. For x plus 4 equals 0, how do I get x by itself? Subtract 4 from both sides. What does x equal? Negative 4. There's another one of my solutions. I've now just solved my equation by factoring. That's it. Does that make sense? So if I plug 0 in up here to my original, I should get 0 out of it. So what's 0 squared? 0. What's 0 times 2? 0. What's 8 times 0? What's 0 plus 0? 0. I know 0 is a solution.
That's crazy.
Okay? Plug negative 4 in. What's negative 4 squared? So negative 4 times negative 4. 16. 16 times 2. 32. What's 8 times negative 4? Negative 32. What's 32 plus negative 32? 0. Does 0 equal 0? Yep. So I know negative 4 is also a solution. Does everyone see how that works? How we solved our equation by factoring, using the zero product property. Can I erase and move to letter B?
Yes.
Sure.
Aye, aye, okay. You're erased off.
Letter B. We have 6n squared equals 15n. What do you think I need to do before I can factor this?
Find your GCF.
Not yet.
Get in on one side.
Get my variable on the same side together. Correct? Are these like terms though?
No.
No. One of my n's is squared, one of them is not squared. So they're not going to combine whenever I bring it over. Correct? So how do I get this 15n over to the other side?
You subtract it from.
Subtract 15n from both sides.
Wait, then what's on the right side? Oh, 0.
So we said we cannot combine them, correct? So I'm just going to represent it as 6n squared minus 15n. What am I left with on the right-hand side?
0.
0. Does everyone see what I've done there?
Yeah.
Got all my terms to one side, and now they equal 0. Now what can I do here?
Find your greatest common factor.
Find my GCF and factor it out. So, what is the biggest number that goes into 6 and 15?
3.
3. So I can factor out a 3. How many n's do my two terms have in common? 1. So I can factor out an n. Is everyone okay with that? Am I moving too fast for anybody, or is there any confusion from yesterday? 3n times what would give me 6n squared? 2n. 3n times what would give me negative 15n? Negative 5. Is everyone okay with that? Have I factored this completely now?
Yeah.
I pulled out all the GCFs, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So I factored it completely. Now I can solve my equation. So what am I doing to solve my equation here?
You gotta
What's that one?
learn how to do it. Make it equal 0.
Make what equal 0?
The 3, 2. You gotta like
What?
make two equations. The both of them.
Which one? Both of what?
The the numbers.
What number?
There's 3 numbers there.
3n and 2n minus 5.
There you go. So I've got 2 things being multiplied, right? So the 2 things that are being multiplied need to be set equal to 0, right? So like we said, 3n equals 0. 2n minus 5 equals 0. That's my zero product property. I know one of those must equal 0, so I'm just going to go ahead and set them both equal to 0. Okay? 3n equals 0. How do I get n by itself?
Divide by 3.
Divide by 3. So what does n equal? 0. 0 is one of my solutions. What's my first step on 2n minus 5 equals 0?
Add 5 to both sides.
Add 5. 2n equals 5. And now, how do I get n by itself?
Divide by 2.
Divide by 2 on both sides. Can I simplify 5 over 2?
No.
No.
So we just leave it as a fraction.
You can leave it as a fraction, yep. There's my other solution. N equals 5 over 2. Questions on that example? Does that make sense, my zero product property?
Yes, sir.
If things are being multiplied together and they equal 0, I know one of those things must equal 0. So if I had 3 things being multiplied, set equal to 0, I've got to set all 3 things equal to 0. Does that make sense? Do I need to do more examples?
No.
We're good? Any questions for me before I end my recording?